Okay, so I just want to talk about birth and the afterbirth of being a first time mom. Labor was 15 hours. I was pushing for 2.5. Went into labor on my birthday. It was nice. It was lovely. But hey, as a birthday present, I got to go home with a baby. So it was perfect. It was perfect. Her birthday is the day after mine. Everything about the whole situation is perfect. I absolutely love it, and I love her. It was very challenging in the beginning because we don't have any help. It's just me and my husband. We have his father and his father's family, but with COVID and them living an hour away from us, it just makes things a lot difficult. But I was so struggling in the beginning because I was like, I can't clean this house. This is annoying. Like, I have a brand new baby. I'm breastfeeding. I'm learning all these new things. He's working. He had a week off of work. It took the house a long time to fully get clean. And honestly, my daughter's 5 months. And our house is officially, finally, fully cleaned since we brought her home. I'm not saying like, oh, it was just so dirty. It was just kind of like, oh, pile of something over here, pile of something over there, clean it up. We would clean it and then it'd get back dirty because it was never really fully clean in the beginning. So it just kind of felt like we wasn't really fully cleaning the house, except for our bedroom and her room. Her room is fine. It may look messy because it's just like kind of stacked up with a whole bunch of baby stuff, but obviously that's just kind of life. Like, our high chair is back here and it's a whole bunch of other baby stuff back there. So obviously that's just like what happens. But I had to get used to that. I'm the oldest of 8 and I have a lot of nephews. And even with that, it was just still like, I lived with the majority of them when they were pregnant, and we all lived under our parents. And to see how the family came in and everybody helped, I could understand how my sisters and them felt like it was a little bit easier for them. But for me, I just didn't have that luxury. But that's another day, different story. So I don't even want to get into that. I don't even want to get into that. That's a whole nother ball game. But I adjusted, which is what a mother is supposed to do. So I quickly adjusted to the situation and was very glad that my husband did the same thing. I've always encouraged him and let him know that he was going to be a good dad, even when he didn't think he was going to be a good dad. And when he lost his mom, he thought, wow, my mom was the person I was going to go to. She was my go-to person to ask about anything when it came down to our daughter. And, he didn't have that person. So it was really, tough trying to grieve and the baby. Like, it's a lot. And right now we're on top of it. Everything's going good. She just started eating solids, so everything's going great. But in the beginning, it was definitely a struggle. So this video, it's for anybody, but definitely people who don't really have the support system like other people do. I can definitely understand. I'm definitely someone you can relate to, because my situation it's awful. And his mother's side of the family situation is awful too. So, it's a lot. But we adjust. That's what we do as parents. We all just adjust and we do what's best for our child. Coming home with the blood clot situation was very scary. I don't know how it is for those who had a normal pregnancy and a normal labor. I say that because for me, it was just not normal. And I thought it was going to be. It's like my first baby. None of my siblings had an issue except for one, and that was preeclampsia, which I had got my blood pressure checked. Obviously, the whole time I was pregnant and even up to birth, I never had a high blood pressure problem. Like, my blood pressure never even hit 120. Like, it was literally 114 or lower most of the time. So I end up having what they call a postpartum hemorrhage. And it was literally this close to me getting a blood transfusion. And her head was a little tilted in, so they had to vacuum her out. And they were like, if we don't get it, out with this vacuum, you're going to have an emergency C-section, like, right now. Like, she literally called for them to go and prep the entire area, or whatever it is that they prep, that room, for the C-section. And then she did the suction and the baby came out. And I was so happy. And then I read, because they were like really adamant about asking me, was I okay with that? And then that's when I later read into like other pregnancy apps that parents are actually not okay with the vacuum suctioning, because I was told it could do a lot of different things. It didn't hurt my baby. However, I did notice on her scalp in certain areas where the suction was that it did leave like little bitty scabs, but the doctor said that that was perfectly fine. And as I went to her checkups, never missed one, she explained to me that yes, that can happen considering what happened to her, but she's totally fine. Like even now you don't see them, there's no scars in her head, no none of that. Like she's fine. So I was real grateful for that. The first day was awful with the postpartum hemorrhage. I had also what they call, what did she say? It was labor anxiety. So I was vomiting. Now remember, I was pushing for 2.5 hours. During these 2.5 hours, I was literally vomiting as I'm pushing. When I'm not pushing, my body just couldn't stop shaking. Like, not, oh, your arms are shaking. No, like it was full blown shake. My legs, my arms, I'm trying to hold my legs up and I'm shaking my legs as I'm trying to push her out. They said that that was normal as a black woman, well, as a Afro-Latina, which is also a black woman as well as Latina. So I know that we have issues in the labor and delivery room, and that was one of my biggest things, and it freaked me out. I started crying, and then I had to keep pulling myself back as I'm seeing myself shake and hear them talk about, oh, she's losing blood, she's using blood, what type of blood is she? You may have to get a transfusion. I see all these people, and it's just like the room just grew with more and more people. You start with this many people, and then it's like this many people in a room, and it scared me. But I was so glad to have him, so grateful to have him, because he was over there with the baby, and although he was over there with the baby, with them, cutting their umbilical cord and doing all that fun stuff, I could see him because I was staring at my baby myself. I was like, if I focus on looking over there at her while they're doing this, it'll take my mind off of it, because I was afraid that maybe I'm going to push myself into bleeding more if I start freaking out. So I immediately stopped crying and just start focusing on my baby, and he's looking at me and I'm looking at him, and then I see him look down there, and then I saw him do this and he looked back at the baby, and it freaked me out. So I was like, oh my gosh. There was a moment that I did almost pass out. I felt it, and I heard them say it, and I was like, no, I'm not. And then I started to do the doze off, and I was like, oh shit, I'm going to pass the fuck out. I lost that much blood. My blood pressure dropped. Like, it dropped to 90s. It was almost close to 80. They were afraid. Like, it just kept dropping. It was the most scariest thing I ever dealt with in my life. And will I do it again? Hell yes. But it was definitely frightening in the beginning. But knowing what I know now, I don't know what causes it. I read into it. I asked them. They claimed that there was nothing that I did to cause it. I can't help but put the blame on myself, because I do kind of feel, a lot of people were telling me, you need to slow down. You need to stop doing so much. You need to stop doing so much, because I'm just so used to doing a lot. And I didn't. And I literally stopped working at the salon a week before I gave birth. Like, I was still moving around. I'm cleaning up. I'm working. And don't get me wrong, oh, it hurt, but I still did it. I won't do that for my second pregnancy. And if you're watching this and you're like pregnant and you haven't had your baby yet, slow down. Take that time when it gets close. When you hit that 9 months, 8 to 9 months, just slow down. And even if you're a person like me who's like, it's hard to just take help from people, take the help, because you're going to need it. You have to be patient with yourself, and you have to be nice and kind to yourself. It's okay to do that. You need to do it. It's for your health. So I will be definitely careful next time around. And then also, I wasn't able to take care of my daughter the first day. I hope I don't cry, because I just did my makeup, and I ain't did my makeup in a long time, and I look really good and don't want to cry and mess it up. But I couldn't take care of her the first day we were in the hospital after I gave birth. And I'm over it now, but it did haunt me for a little bit, because I was so shaky still. I had like 6-7 blankets on my body, and I was still freezing because I lost so much blood. I would try to pick her up, and I'd be about to throw up on her, so I had to hurry up and get my baby away. Like, it sucked. And I do breastfeed, but I did not breastfeed her the first day she came out. And that to this day actually still haunts me, because that was what I wanted. I wanted to see her eat and see if it was, the first reaction from being born to breastfeeding. And I miss that, but he stepped up and he took care of her that first day. He took care of her every night. He would let me sleep. As soon as 10 o'clock hit, he'd be like, you go to sleep, I'll watch her. We did the formula that's like breast milk at the hospital for the first 3 days we were in there at night when I was sleeping. He really stepped up, and I'm very grateful to have somebody, because I didn't. That's a rough situation to be in by yourself. So even if the dad isn't around, like, don't feel discouraged. Like, just get a birthing buddy. How about we call it that? You get you a birthing buddy, and that birthing buddy is going to be with you throughout the whole process. They're going to know everything that needs to happen. They need to know your birth plan. They need to know all of that. Always have a birth buddy. That saved everything for me, because I would have not been able to do that by myself. And especially with COVID and him not being able to go into the doctor's appointments, it was tough. Like, he went to one doctor's appointment, and that was because I was high risk. I was actually pregnant with twins, and then I lost my daughter's twin a few months in, and I'm still grieving from that. And he got to be there because I was considered high risk at the moment, because they didn't really know what was going on with that baby's heartbeat for a while, and that one was tough. But at least he was there, because that was the first day we both found out the sex of the baby, so I was glad he got to be there for that. But the other appointments, he didn't get to be there, so he didn't know what to expect. But I would try to explain it to him. I was on the phone with him during the whole time, so he would know what's going on. I talked to him about my birth plan the whole 9 months, because I didn't want him to forget a thing. But it was definitely tough the first day. It was tough. I did 15 hours I was in labor, so 6 of those hours it was natural. And then I was on the birthing ball, trying to get the contractions going, and my legs cramped up and would not move, and my body just started shaking while I was on a ball. And I was like, I don't know if the baby is coming. I was like, just get the nurse. And I was like, I don't know if this baby is coming or if I need an epidural, because I was like, I can't move past this pain. I don't know what this is, but I can't do it. So I got the epidural, and I wish we got a video of it, because my husband said that I took it like a G. He was like, I ain't never seen nobody with a needle that long in their back do what you did. He was like, I don't even think you blinked, is how still you were. Look, before, like, from growing up till now, I was always told, you move during that epidural, you will be paralyzed. Say less. I sat there, because they make you like bend up to your knees and stuff, and you gotta be still and don't move. Boy, I sat there and I was like, I'm fighting, just breathing through them contractions. I'm like, I don't give a fuck, just give me this damn epidural, because baby, there's no fucking way that I'm about to do this. Legs cramping up, my back is cramping up, my body's shaking. No more epidural. So 6 hours of that was natural, which I still give myself a pat on the back for that, because that labor is not a joke, honey. It ain't a joke. It don't come to play with you. It is serious, and it is real. So you better be prepared for it. And you can't even prepare for it if it's your first time. Just know, women for centuries have been doing this, so you got it. And that's all I can think. I'm like, my ancestors did this. My ancestors did this with no epidural. My ancestors did it. My ancestors. I just kept telling myself, I'm like, they done this. I can do this. I can do this. I know I can do it. Ain't no way I'm going to sit here and not be able to do this. I can do this. So just always remember, your ancestors did it. And if your ancestors can do it, honey, you can do it too. We strong black women, we got this. We are women of color, okay? So I did it, and it's like, as much pain and awful as that situation sounds, I will do it all over again. For one more baby, because I'm not doing it again after that. I don't see how people do it all them other times. I can do it one more time. I got my 2 babies. I want a boy. If I don't have a boy, I can have a girl. I have my double girls, and I'm okay with having 2 girls. I got names for both, so it doesn't matter for me. Just know, one more time and I'm done. If I get pregnant with twins a second time, I'm still going to be happy either way it goes. I probably would be a lot more nervous though than I was pregnant the first time with twins, if I do get pregnant the second time, because you know what happened, and that was actually my second miscarriage. And it's weird because it's like you're trying to grieve over a baby, but you already have another baby in your belly. And before getting pregnant, I had a miscarriage before, so this miscarriage was just different because it was like, I want to mourn my baby, but I don't want to stress my other baby out because I still have one. It's like a mind fuck because you just don't, you want to grieve so it doesn't fuck with you later, but then you want to just be like, I got my baby and I need to be strong for her because she's watching me and she can feel what's going on down there. It's a total mind fuck. And do not feel bad if you're like, do I grieve? What do I do? You do what you feel like is necessary. I did do my grieving a little bit. It was back and forth. I grieved after I had the babies because it was after I had my first baby, because all I could think about was, I'm only going home with one baby. And I started with two. So it took a minute, but you got this. So that's my birthing story, because this is about to get really long. That is my birthing story. If you have any other questions, guys, drop them comments below and I will definitely, answer your questions. I do want to go into a more depth video about the miscarriage because they call it a vanishing twin, and I never got to do my vanishing twin video. Well, I did it like 3 times. It's on my phone. I just haven't fully put the video out. So when I do it, I'm probably going to like chop it up and put it all together. But it's definitely a sad thing to talk about, but I don't think a lot of people know about it. So I want to be able to help somebody go through what I went through, because you need somebody, and sometimes people who haven't went through it, they can't help you and nobody could. So drop those comments, like and subscribe, and I will be back with another video.